Hey everybody, it's Brooke with The Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. Today we are all about pie. Now I don't know about y'all, but pie is a big deal at any Thanksgiving or Christmas soiree that we have. The dessert table is always the #1 table at our Thanksgiving gathering. I don't know about yours. But if you struggle with pies, we have a whole lot of helpful resources over at thebutteredhome.com to help you make the perfect pie crust. Now, there's no shame in the store-bought pie crust, there's not. But if you ever see how simple it is to make a homemade pie crust, it's really a lot easier. You don't have to go out and buy anything generally if you have butter, ice water, and flour. So it's really easy to put one together, and you can head over after we're done here to thebutteredhome.com and just search for pie crust and figure out how to make your own. They're real easy to mix up, and then when you make it into a disc, you can wrap them up, put it in freezer safe bags, and keep them to when you need them and thaw them at room temperature. They're fantastic. You can make ahead and be ahead of the game, right? And we're down to 3 prep days before Thanksgiving. So this is like 2 tips in one for a pie. So, and I've seen several other people do this, and you may do this, and like all of our other tips, I always say, if you already know this, that's great and wonderful, but have you told anybody? So now is your chance. Down on Facebook, down at the bottom, there's a little swirly arrow. You can hit share, and it'll share this video to your timeline, and then you have shared a bit of kitchen knowledge that you probably already know with someone with your family or friends. So, 2 things. Bake your pie in parchment and take it a step further and put it in a cake pan. So what I did is I just lined my cake pan with parchment paper, and then I prepared my pie as normal, and I'll let you take a look at it. She's very pretty. This is a recipe that I'm testing, so it's hush hush, secret. But I'll leave it like this just so I can show you. So one thing, I like a rustic finish to my pie. You might like the crimped, and that's great. But what's great about the parchment is that you can simply, and I say simply, but it is completely cool, but you can loosen that parchment. Like, this is a fruit pie, so it's a little sticky. And look, I'm gonna have trouble on live camera. You can take that pie out of the pan just like that with the parchment. So this does 2 things. Number 1, it's a little less cleanup, and then you can carefully remove the parchment from the pie and have a nice finished edge. One of the things that's so cumbersome about pie is when you cut it to get the pieces out, usually the crust always breaks. So this way, if you do it on the parchment in a cake pan, and a cake pan is a little deeper, so it's a little easier to kind of get in and out. You can cut that piece and then get it out of there a little easier. And the hook, look, I say easy, but I didn't even cut it all the way through. A little easier than you would, say, in your pie pan. And you don't waste any of that beautiful crust. You still have it. It's all nice, and you get a nice slice there with the crust, the top crust still intact, especially if it's a 2-crust pie, right? Those seem to be the most difficult. In a pie pan, it's hard to get that top crust and the bottom crust to seal. So this way, you have a little extra room, and you have the parchment to kind of help things along. So I have a special guest today because he is my #1 taste tester, and he's got to try this pie. So Big D, why don't you come here and try the pie? The pie itself has absolutely nothing to do with what we're doing, but I know you guys like to get to see him every once in a while because he's always behind the scenes, and bless his heart, he had to go out and work late last night, but that crust is pretty, isn't it?
Good times, yes.
So he's not running on all 8 cylinders today, but it's not any good. Okay, so he said, when he says things are not any good, that means that he wants to dispose of them so that nobody else has to eat it. So that's his way. If he tells me it's not any good, then that's code for I want it all to myself, which means it's really good. And he's over there. All right, so this one may make it over to the Buttered Home, this mystery pie. But now you don't have to do this, but if you wanted a cleaner, prettier presentation to your pie, this parchment in the cake pan is the way to go. Now, there's no reason why, if you're using a regular pie dish, especially a deep dish one, that you couldn't do it in a deep dish pie dish too. But I know that a lot of times, a lot of people like to take that and leave it in that deep dish pie tin because they use it to kind of help form the edges. But if you want your edges to stay and you want a really good, nice presentation and maybe put this on a decorative platter, this is an awesome, awesome way to do that. And it just is just slightly a bit more prep for you just to take that piece of parchment and just line it in there. And then I'm going to give you another tip on your parchment too. And I'll just use this piece right here. Parchment. It really doesn't feel all that parched, right? But sometimes, like if you're using a loaf bread pan, do you want another piece? He set his plate up here. If you're using parchment and you want to get it to kind of form fit in, especially like a loaf pan or something like that, it can be kind of cumbersome. But you know what? I'm going to get a full piece and show you this. This is an unexpected tip, but it's one that I use all the time. And I'll probably use it again here in a few minutes. But most times whenever you tear that parchment off, it kind of rolls up. So if you're trying to put it in something, and I'll show you, let me grab a loaf pan. If you're trying to put it inside of a loaf pan, even if you kind of take the time to do that, it's just not going to hold very well. It's sitting up off the bottom. But you can take this parchment and just a tiny bit, like I don't even wet the whole thing. I'll fold it in half and run it under that water and just kind of squeeze it together and then wring that water out. Might need to do it again. So it's really important that you get all that water out of it. And then it's damp. And you can take it and put it inside of the vessel that you're using, and it forms a lot better. And guess what? It's going in the oven, so it's going to dry out, and it's less likely to burn by doing this. So parchment is parched. You can use a little water to unparch it and make it kind of form fit whatever you need it to. It's fantastic. We hope that you've enjoyed these tips. We'll be here every Sunday till the end of the year. We usually try to do this around 4 o'clock. I'm losing daylight this afternoon a little faster than normal, so we had to come a little earlier because I have some photographs that I have to take of something I got in the freezer. So don't forget, the main reason you want to share this video is when is the 1st? Is it a week from today? What's today? Today's the 24th. Yeah. So December 1st, we start our 12 days of Christmas cookie recipes. You can't get them here on Facebook. You can't get them on YouTube. You can't get them on Instagram. The only place you can get them is in your own inbox. So we urge you, if you have not already, to go to thebutteredhome.com and hit the subscribe button on the pop-up or at the top up there and sign up for our VIP email newsletter. It's free, completely free, and for 12 days we're going to send you 5 to 6 cookie recipes a day so that you can get in the kitchen with your family and your friends and make food gifts, have fellowship and fun, go to a cookie swap, whatever it is you need to do. This is our 4th year of sharing our 12 days of cookie recipes, and y'all, it's so much fun and it brings so much joy to all the people who are already on our email list. If you're not a part of that, when we're done, go sign up for that and invite your friends to do that too. This could be a fun little neighborhood or girlfriend group thing to do, is to get together and make one of these recipes. They're all tried, tested, and proven to be successful by other food bloggers as well as myself, who put a lot of time and effort into developing recipes that actually work for you. So sign up for that email so that you can start on December 1. And if you're late signing up, that's okay too. We'll get you caught up somehow. We'll figure it out at the end of the 12 days so that you can make cookies for your family and your friends and be festive and share God's love this wonderful, beautiful Christmas season. And it does start Friday. It may have started earlier here. I have some Christmas decorations up already. Ooh, I know, shame on me. But you have to do what the heart wants to do, right? And I try to keep Christmas in my heart every day. But once it cools off a little bit, it just becomes a little easier just to warm the house up with the glow of the lights and remember the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. We hope that you'll have a wonderful week and join us here again next Sunday for our next holiday tip. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and from